Hello and welcome to the Unstoppable Masculinity podcast. I'm your host, Sam Joseph, and today we have a special guest with us. He's a sales and marketing pro, a man who has personally mentored hundreds of small business owners and entrepreneurs on persuasion over the past 2.5 decades. Plus, his products have helped thousands more. Not only that, he's one of Australia's best copywriting coaches, and in my humble opinion, one of the best copywriters in the world. His name is Pete Godfrey, aka the Wizard of Words, and he joins us today. Good to have you here, Pete.
Hey, great to be here too, Sam, mate. We've worked together for the last few years, and this whole thing that you started, this unstoppable masculinity, really got me excited. And frankly, mate, until I started working with you, I didn't realize how affected young guys were these days, and how much the way they've been conditioned and lied to since birth about being a man, how that has affected them. So I'm honoured to be here, mate. You're doing great work.
Yeah, thanks, Pete. Now, I had a question for you. Now, you work with a lot of, a lot of people, but I think quite a few young guys in the capacity of being a coach, and mostly around raising their understanding and skills of what persuasion really looks like in the world. Are there any gaps that you've seen with these young guys? Like, are they a little bit more insecure or not willing to like face the fact of how dangerous the world is when they're going out to try and make some money? Has that changed over time?
Well, it's been weird the last, I don't know, probably a decade, mate. Younger guys have been approaching me to be mentored and stuff like that, and I think they just share my name because I don't do much marketing for myself these days. So it's been a pleasure. Some have been really fragile, and I respectfully decline to work with them. But others, it's been a buzz. But yeah, when it comes to persuasion, I always start back with the foundation. I start back with them, and work on them a bit first, before I start working on their persuasion skills and stuff like that, mate. Because you got to instill that belief that, one, that they're worthy of being able to, persuade others, and two, that use your powers for good. Um, and nothing happens unless something's sold. Nothing happens until you persuade someone, whether it's persuading someone to give you a job, persuading your teacher to give you an extension. My son uh, used to get extensions all the time, and his teachers were happy to do it just with the way he worded his the whole situation. And that's persuasion powers in the real world, mate. And that's where I deal with every day of my life for the past 25 years or more.
Yeah, I like what you said there, instilling the belief that they're worthy. And then you said something else around um, giving them, the tools to be persuasive and something around helping them give themselves the permission to go and use this very, very valuable skill. And I think the implication is without guilt, like to
Yeah,
go out and be effective and use this skill because it's super effective to go and get your goals sorted and go chase what you want without the guilt of feeling like, oh, I'm taking advantage or oh, I'm succeeding too much or what are people going to think about me?
yeah. Just because you win doesn't mean someone else has to lose. And also, let's clarify this right from the word go, Sam. I'm not talking about cheap pickup artist stuff uh, that a lot of young guys are into, who learn a few lines, and so they get laid. That's just surface level, really low ball persuasion, mate. I'm talking about a deeper level, having the change within you first, and then discovering the world of persuasion and how you can use that. But it all comes it all starts with you. It all starts with the person. So I'm not looking at band-aids. Teach them a couple of tricks so they can get laid, mate. I
Mm.
mean, um, there's thousands and thousands of people teaching that because it's a quick fix, and that's what young guys want, most of them, to get laid. But
Yeah.
you know, yeah, this is all about building your own self-respect first.
Yeah.
And that's you've enlightened me on this over the last few years. Um, a lot of guys don't get that respect, and as soon as they showed a little bit of masculinity, they get jumped on. Get back in your box. It's toxic, where in fact it's the exact opposite, you know.
Yeah, that perfectly ties into, I guess, the topic of our chat today. Um, so with Unstoppable Masculinity, there are 7 things we worked together on this, and I actually went away a couple of years ago to try and define this philosophy because there needed to be a framework, in my view, that was simple and effective that any man at any stage could start applying to his life and start seeing changes. It had to be practical, I think, and not super theoretical and not full of platitudes. I think a lot of men don't need that because they want to start doing stuff. They want to see changes in their reality pretty quickly, and they don't want the cheap changes like the guys I've talked to. There's a deep need in them to go, like I'm a dude, but I'm not satisfied, and everyone's telling me to do this thing and I'm doing it, but I don't feel fulfilled and I don't feel like I'm doing the right thing. I don't feel congruent is what I keep hearing back from younger guys. So one of the parts of the philosophy, there's seven parts to it, but this is what I think is the most pertinent. It's called Be Dangerous Yet Tame. Now,
Yeah, yeah, that's a beauty.
yeah, and now this is one of the most confronting ones. I think the other parts of the philosophy is it's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense, Sam. But this one, I think I've had the most resistance to when I've told people about it because people want to be seen as quote unquote good people. They want others to like them. And this part of the philosophy kind of is encouraging them to not prioritize that for their own best interests and for raising their self-respect and authority and influence in the world without guilt.
So how do they do that, mate? How do they become dangerous? Do what I used to do when I was a young man. Do some boxing. I know you do jujitsu. Being able to defend themselves is a great thing to be able to do.
Mm, definitely, definitely. So as a guy, being dangerous starts with your body. So this is the first place you start before all the mindset stuff and all the hacks. You got to make sure your body is strong and capable. You don't have to be the strongest guy in the world, but you need to know that if you need to use your body in a sticky situation, you can use it. That gives you a level of self-confidence as a man that no amount of books or courses or mentoring will ever do for you. In fact, if you don't feel like you're embodied in your body, that if you can throw a punch and you have confidence that's going to hit hard, not that you should go punch someone. I'm just saying you need to know that if you throw it, you can rely on your own punch. That gives you far more, um, let's call it confidence. There's like a knowing, like, hey, I'm a man. This is my body. I can use it to do something effective if I need to.
Yeah, and also just quickly, mates, some of the most dangerous men that I've met uh, and become friends with over the years are the most stable because
Mm,
they've gone through a doctrine of restraint. If you walk into a boxing gym and try to take everyone out, you'll soon get sorted out, mate. You soon learn that discipline. You learn how to use it,
mm.
but you don't start it. And here's another thing, man. When you become confident of what you can do, you become emotionally stable. And when I look around at this world these days, man, there's a lot of emotionally unstable and immature men out there that just fly off the handle at anything because they're still a little boy. They haven't matured into manhood, you know. So you know, so it's a beautiful thing. Be dangerous yet tame, and that comes like I know you do jujitsu, man, and they instill a lot of discipline and a lot of mindset stuff into you. You know,
Mm.
you're not going to finish up, walk out of the dojo, and just attack someone. You know, but
No.
it's good to know if you're attacked, and also defending your woman. I
Mm.
mean, you if you want a good hack on how to be a man, like is like you don't want to be that guy if you get broken into. Say you're home at night with your with your woman, and you get broken into, and you're screaming, squealing louder than she is, in
Mm.
fear, there's a problem, isn't there? And
Yeah.
how will she look at you then?
Yeah.
But if you have the strength and the discipline to confront that situation, maybe talk it down if he's not armed or something, or if push comes to shove to take care of it.
Mm.
I mean, you're in her eyes, you it's hardwired. You're the protector. You protected her. And that's
Right.
noble, man. It's not being chauvinistic. It's not being sexist. It's being noble. Hey,
Yeah. Yeah. Another way to to think about being dangerous yet tame is here's a synonym. Some people might go, "Oh, I don't want to be harmful." Of course, you don't want to be harmful, but being dangerous. That philosophy is about being capable and effective at the bottom, right? It's going like the reality is the world is not a fair and equal place. It is difficult. There are bad people around there. You're going to have goals, you're going to have things you need to do, and you're going to have to go out into the world and make that happen. And it's kind of like you are constantly aiming at a moving target, and the expectation is you are getting better at hitting that target. You're getting smarter at hitting that target. You have to be effective and capable to do that. And the first place that philosophy gets practical is to have a strong body that you can rely on. Before all the mental hacks, make sure the body that you have, something you can do without having to be Einstein, is slowly start shaping up your body. Use it, make it effective. Start becoming what I call embodied, you know. That does incredible things for how you feel as a man. You start to feel like, hey, if this person out here starts to raise his voice or starts to impose his physical presence on me, I actually have no problem stepping up and saying, no, that's not gonna cut it. We're not doing that. So that's basically the first step to progress, in my opinion.
yeah, look, we all hate conflicts, mate. I've got a mate that loves them, especially in business. If he's got about 40 staff. He has difficult conversations every week. But to him, it's just water off a duck's back because he's confident in
Mm,
himself. He's running the show, but he's also confident, not in a physical sense, but his mindset is so powerful. He's in the right, and he's not going to put up with something. And especially if you're at work or something, and you get, there's always that one or two people that you know want to stand over you. If you can stand your ground, man, bullies hate it when you just stand your ground. You don't have to get upset. And here's the beautiful thing that I got good at after many years, but is to remove the emotions out the situation.
yeah.
Just put your emotions out the way. And I know that's hard to do for the guys listening, but man, I tell you what, remove the emotions, take a deep breath, and then answer in a calm way. You know, and with practice, you'll get good at it. And people will respect that. They'll respect you. They don't respect someone that just folds every time something doesn't go their way, you know.
That's
So,
exactly right. Yes, and like I think this is somewhat changing these days, but the overall sense, especially in the past 5 years, like a lot of men, especially younger men, I guess the younger millennials and Gen Zers, they thought that being a good man, they conflated being a good man with a man who was harmless and nice, right? And then what ended up happening? I did some research on this, and I saw it happen in my peer group, is they just become bitter and resentful and unattractive to women. Um, and
because they're living a lie. They're living a lie,
sorry.
mate. They're,
Yeah.
they're, they're fighting against what's biologically instilled in them. And every time they try to be a guy, try to be a man, they're toxic.
Mm.
That's what they've been indoctrinated with. Um, so I can understand that, and that's a beautiful thing about the work that you're doing, Sam.
Yeah.
And my
Yeah.
vision for you, mate, is that this your philosophy and your teachings and your actual empathy and kindness towards this segment, the young guys, will
Mm.
grow in leaps and bounds because people need to hear what you're offering, mate. So you're saying, with this part of your philosophy, be dangerous yet tame. Work on yourself physically first.
That's right. Step one is before you start shoveling mindset hacks, confidence hacks, uh, whatever hack you want, this part you can do by yourself without needing to spend any money on books or resources. Now you should read, but if you want to be effective, start with your body. Start with using the damn thing because it is your body as a man is different to a woman's body. It needs different things, and to be able to use your body as a man gives you a nice boost of masculine confidence. It starts encouraging testosterone growth. It's probably the best if you want to call it a hack. I don't like calling it a hack, but for argument's sake, working on your body is frankly the best mindset hack for you as a man. It gives you things that nothing else can give you and a level of self-respect that is very hard to fake.
And stop drinking those soy milk lattes, mate. That's
Oh,
one of
they
our jokes.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
full of
Honestly,
estrogen.
yeah, get away from the soy milk. Um, any
Uh,
kind of substitutes is going to increase your estrogen. It's like seriously, it's actually scary if you start looking into this stuff.
well, a lot of those anything, the last month I've cut out a lot of. I wasn't big on processed food, Sam, but yeah, I've been eating a lot more meat,
Mm,
you know, and very good, very good for you. Meat and good fats, that'll keep you strong, especially if you're working out and stuff. And a lot of young guys I talk to, like they start working out a bit, and then they go, "Oh, I want to learn how to defend myself." So then
mm,
they'll go. There's more young guys, I think, these days than it was when I was a young guy.
mm.
Mainly back then it was just boxing or karate. But these days you got a whole choice of what you can do. Um, so they start to get fit and it starts to feel good, and then by doing some type of martial arts or something, that'll give you the discipline to control your emotions as well. Hey,
Yeah,
because
that's right.
you can't walk into a boxing gym and just be some emotional wanker, throwing tantrums. You won't last long. You
Yeah,
know,
that's right. Uh,
it teaches you humility. You know, and I know with jujitsu, my son was saying, he was getting when he first started, he was getting thrown around on the mat by an 18-year-old woman, who was a couple of belts ahead of him. He was just starting. And he had done years of boxing and karate and stuff. But he
mm.
said, "Yeah, it's very humbling, but it was good for me." You know,
That's I mean, essentially you touched on something important there, Pete. I mean, the pursuit of being dangerous, people as disagreeable as that sounds, ultimately, yeah, that being humbled is the first part of being dangerous, or being effective, because you have to realize how incapable you are first. and then systematically start to increase your effectiveness. Um, and just like your son, I was humbled many times on the mat in jiu-jitsu. There are people like much scrawnier people than me who showed me without a shadow of a doubt that they could choke me out in about 5 seconds flat because they were more
Yeah.
technically skilled.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's great, man. And you know, and it's all about getting that inner confidence and then start moving on. Okay, I want to be a better communicator. I want to be a better persuader. I've got some great ideas, but I need others. You're always going to need other people, but you got to get there, persuade them to your way of thinking. And we're not talking about hacks here for the listeners. We're talking about beautiful language that communicates the benefits to the other person of
Mm,
why it's a good thing for them to say yes. And a lot of times you can do it in such a way where that other person feels like it's his idea to begin with, so he owns it more. So he's more on your side. And it's not about manipulation. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, how you can win without other people losing, you know? And it is a beautiful thing. You do a cheap pickup line on a young lady that's had a few drinks and you end up getting laid. You shouldn't feel too good about yourself, mate, because uh, she probably isn't the next morning either. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, that's
Because
right.
she'll feel what once she sobers up and wakes up and thinks about it a bit, she'll feel a bit, that she was manipulated, and she was. Simple as that. She was manipulated.
That's right. And you have to, being dangerous means at some level you got to pick your code, you got to pick your values because uh like I keep saying, being dangerous is very much being effective. And so if you're going to go I guess be expedient or you try and use hacks to get ahead, you might think you're getting ahead with these quick wins here and there, getting laid there, oh, I got someone to agree to a sale here, but it's not a good long-term plan and you end up worse off than when you started. So
I,
you have to pick
I
your
I know
values.
some great I know some great closers that you get them on the phone to a hot lead and they'll close a 10 grand deal,
Mm.
but they're too full on, mate, and the refunds are horrendous. You know, um, but getting back to behaviors and getting strong in that, and that's why I love that free gift that you're giving away to your tribe. Um, One, they get on your email list, but two, that banish this now graphic report that you put together, mate, because it shows them that one thing that they need to stop doing, and once they stop doing that, everything else falls into place. And then they'll have the mental. Then they'll start thinking, okay, I want to get strong too, or I want to do a course, or I want to do this. But until they get rid of that old self and stop that one thing that's sabotaging everything, it's very hard to move forward, mate.
Yeah, we're in a world, right now, Pete, that validates every person's opinion and every whim, which all it does is it keeps people spinning their tail. It keeps people chasing cheap fixes and basically making them victims off their own hand, and it validates them along the way. So with Banish This Now, I wanted to show people that hey, you need to take control over just this one thing. Try it and see what happens for your life. And you have the power
Well,
to.
I've never seen it anywhere put together um, that it made so much sense. Just that one line. Because otherwise they're here, there, and everywhere, commenting everywhere. The whole life is just plugged into the grid.
Mm.
And the powers that be call them, everyone like that, useful idiots, because they're the guys making all the money from your attention. Okay, you
Yeah.
stop giving attention to all these other things and people, and start giving the attention to yourself. that's when the breakthrough will happen, man. And that's when. And look, it's not about everyone else seeing the breakthrough in you. You don't even have to share that.
Mm.
You don't have to share every brain fart you have. Once you make that change and you start to get fit, you'll feel it. You won't need that outside endorsement of you because you'll feel it. And there's no better feeling than when you know something, when you know that you've done this. And it's an ongoing journey, mate. It's every day. You just keep on working for yourself, but on yourself. And then others will notice, mate. They'll eventually notice you know,
Yeah,
but
yeah, that's
keep
right.
things close to your chest. I always say play your cards close to your chest. If you want to tell everyone about your goals and shit like that, great. Tell them after you achieved it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Then start sharing.
one of the best tips, that I found with goals is keep it all a secret, and the reason for that is you waste a lot of energy, and like psychological energy and motivation, telling people your goals, justifying your goals to them questioning you on your goals. Like keep that all to yourself and use your energy to go forward until you start making traction, and then you can speak about it if you like, but don't
Well, look,
waste.
yeah, exactly, Sam. And look, I laugh my head off, mate. I see people post like, I'm thinking of writing a book. Then they get because they got a large following, they got hundreds of people saying, "Yay," you know, all this crap. Now they've already got the endorphin hit.
Mm.
They've already got the validation. They haven't written a word, Sam. You know what I mean?
That's right.
They haven't written a word. The chances are they will now decrease, okay? Because they've
100%.
already got the validation. How about you write the book and then tease them? And if you want to tease them to build some, hype and stuff, yeah, write it, tease them about it, tell them it's written, it's just about ready, and
Mm.
then launch it. But don't tell me you're thinking about writing a book. I've been thinking about a lot of things, Sam. And
I'm scared. I'm scared. We don't want to go down the
no, no. Hey, I tell you what, we covered a lot on this call. We were just going to stick with be dangerous, yet tame, but we got into a lot of different areas. Um, but
yeah,
but
some
yeah,
fun places.
yeah.
I,
You
I would
got you got
say.
to. Yep.
I would say to tidy up, be dangerously tame. There's very much like it's a big concept in the book, and I've written about it in there. But two things to take away from anyone listening to this conversation on this topic. One, work in your body because that fundamentally changes how you see yourself. It makes you see yourself as a strong person, so you start behaving like a stronger person. Okay, so that's number one. Very simple. You don't need to spend any money on this. You can start doing this today. You don't have to be a power lifter. You can just start using your body, do some push-ups, do some punches, do some air boxing. It doesn't matter. Do that for yourself. Okay. Notice the changes. You'll thank me later. Second, there's only two things. So the second thing is stop being so nice. So you can be, what's the word I'm looking for? Um,
Doormat, doormat.
don't
That's
be a
what
doormat.
people
That's
are.
right. Yeah. So be respectful to people, but stop being a doormat or a nice guy, which is bending to everyone's will, trying to be as come across as harmless as possible, not being scared to share your opinion. Obviously, you don't want to share every opinion, but if you have something to say and you're scared, like, oh, you're scared because you don't want people to think of you um, badly, you know, you should notice that and say, why am I being so nice? Why have I indoctrinated myself to be a harmless, socially approved, you know, nice guy? So start noticing that behavior, slowly start editing those behaviors out, and then things start to change. That's when you start going into exponential territory.
Yeah, yeah. Well said, man. And and if you don't get Sam's emails, make sure you grab his report, banish this now. I'm sure you'll leave a link somewhere. and just grab that first. Um, Take action. It's very simple what you have to do, and then just think about what you've heard here. Be dangerous yet tame. And it's all about if you learn how to be dangerous and you haven't got emotional maturity, you are dangerous and you're a threat to society, really. And
Mm,
I see a lot of that, young guys who can't control their temper and they just lash out and they don't care. Now, that's not what Sam was talking about. We're talking about emotional maturity, and you can get there. It doesn't matter where you start. The biggest thing is starting, you know.
mm.
And I've always said half the battle is knowing that there's a problem. Because once you know the problem, you can then start working on the solution. Okay. So, yeah, Sam, it's been good talking to you. I'll have to come back again and then do some recordings for your members and stuff too, mate.
Yeah, it'll be great. There's so
Because
much we can talk about, Pete. I mean, like we can get this topic, we can go into how to be dangerous socially in persuasion, and that will be a fantastic thing to explore, I think.
I think that would be a good one because a lot of people get shamed
Mm.
and doxed and all that terrible stuff. Um, and look, one thing I'll finish up with saying, a successful person's never, quite rarely, is going to spend any time trying to knock you down and belittle you. They're too busy getting on with life, mate. Most of the time, if you get any flack and stuff, it's from people that aren't doing much, man, and they're just bitter. They're just bitter, and so so you start working on yourself, start feeling good about yourself, and that's when the change will happen.
Good point, Pete. You know, there's one thing I keep in mind constantly. It's criticism always comes from below.
Yeah, beautiful.
Thank you, Pete. Well, until next time, I'm Sam Joseph. And if you'd like to get the report, banish this now. You'll find it in the link or show notes below. And grab it, have a read. It's very quick. And I'll see you on the email list.